Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Anna Morphides with Mending Hearts Counseling, and today's video is going to be all about how to love with no attachments, loving freely, unconditionally ourselves and those around us in any relationship, whether it's platonic, romantic, and like Erin Dottie always says, essentially to just stop chasing, because when we're attached to people, ideas, certain ways of behavior, we are chasing a certain type of feeling to be acquired from that experience. So how can we get to a point where we literally don't have to chase anything? And what does it really mean to do that anyways? And why are we attaching to specific behaviors, people, and thoughts, ideas about ourselves, expectations about ourselves? Why do we do this? So I feel the best way to get to a place where you can love somebody else freely with no attachment to how many times they call you or how many times they text you or what do they text you. We attach to so many different things in our relationships that we think is the key to making us feel better about ourselves. So say for example, we attach to things such as the content of a conversation, what it is that the person that you are interacting with, what it is that they're communicating back to you. Sometimes we attach to how that content should be or how often it should be, and what it needs to say in order to appease us. And every time we do things like that, we do give our power away to the other person. And how to take our power back is to see, why are we doing this in that moment anyways? So if we are expecting a different response, say you're communicating via text and the response that you received was making you feel something inside, it ruffled you. Why is it making you feel that way? What is it that you were hoping to hear in order for you to have a different feeling? What is it that this person would be able to give you in their response that you cannot give yourself? Is it validation of your worth? Is it validation of your beauty? Is it validation of your connection? What is it? Because then you can work the other way and you can validate yourself in all these experiences. You don't need anyone else to validate your beauty. You can do that yourself. You look at yourself in the mirror, and every time you catch a glimpse of yourself, you acknowledge how beautiful you are, and you gift that to yourself. And then I forgot the other things that I said were, if you need validation, validation that you are worthy and you're good enough. Now we know that you can do these things through meditation and journaling and affirmations. You can give yourself the exact experience that you're seeking from that person. And if it's more connection, then you connect more to yourself. And how will you connect more to yourself? Doing more things that you love. Going outside in nature and being able to connect with Mother Earth and all the natural abundance that it has of naturally making you feel good, electromagnetic potential, just by being a part of it. Even just grounding your feet barefoot in like on the ground. That's why a lot of meditations actually have you imagine you take your shoes off and plant your feet into the ground, into the earth, so you can receive all the goodness that it has. Maybe you need to connect more with friends. Maybe you need to connect more to your higher self. And the way that we can connect more to our higher self is through meditation. And meditation literally just means quietening down your mind. You sit with yourself and you're not being part of your thoughts, because we have so many thoughts, and these thoughts tend to, because they create emotions and then behaviors. If we're able to not be with our thoughts, then we can just be present with our true self and start to cultivate that feeling of peace. So always work backwards and give to yourself what it is that you are attaching to the person that you're interacting with. So to fully get to a place where you can love freely with no attachment, because attachment is the true cause of all suffering, is to let go of any attachments that you have from yourself to yourself. Like, for example, unhelpful core beliefs. If we're attached to unhelpful core beliefs that we are not worthy, that we are not good enough, that we're bound to be rejected, bound to be alone, we are defective, we're not smart enough. If we're attached to these ideas, it's really challenging to get to love with no attachment, because we're always going to be seeking for the opposite experience. And most likely, we're going to be attaching to the behaviors of the other person as a solution for our lack of positive core beliefs. And we're going to be wanting to use them as a band-aid to cover our wounds, except there's just not enough band-aids to cover those wounds that person can give. And it will never be enough. Then we're always going to be wanting something else from them. And it doesn't ever work. Because if we think that attaching to how somebody is with us, and I'm not talking about abusive behavior here. Like, if someone is being abusive, that is a clear no. I'm talking about just pure normal day-to-day communication and things that are of that nature. No physical abuse, emotional abuse, and all those other. That is get out. That is there is no compromise when it comes to that. So, yeah, going back on track. Letting go of attachments to our core beliefs, and then letting go of attachments to habits that we have, people-pleasing habits. I had to let go of attachment to those, because the way that I received my worthiness was by pleasing people. But essentially what I was doing is crossing all of my boundaries, saying yes when I really wanted to say no, in the hopes that I would eventually and finally feel that love that I lacked as a child. I would seek it from these experiences, but that never works either. Then you just end up depleting yourself. Then I also had to let go of attachment to unhelpful emotions such as guilt and shame that I acquired as a kid, jealousy, because these are really low vibrational emotions that create really low energetic frequency around us. And that energetic frequency that brings in our experiences through the law of attraction reflects just more of guilt and shame and jealousy. So I had to let go of attachment to those emotions, and I wrote it all down so I don't forget. I also had to let go of FOMO, like fear of missing out on anything, because I don't need anything outside of myself to be happy, whole, and complete. And I had to also let go of, I said people-pleasing habits, my negative core beliefs that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, attaching to all that. How is someone supposed to love me when I don't feel that I am these things in the first place? So every time I would bring in someone that couldn't give me what I wanted, just kind of like what my mother did, it was just a reflection of where I was in my core beliefs, and knowing that I just had to release a bit more of those self-concepts that were holding me back from experiencing true unconditional love within myself first, and then experience it from my 3D reality. So yes, my beliefs of unworthiness, attaching to behaviors of other people, of how often they should be texting me, or how often they should be communicating with me, how they should be communicating with me. All these things I had to let go of. Not that they don't still creep in inside, but then I'm really quick to see what is it that I'm needing in this moment. What is that person, or I'm feeling that this person is not giving me, that I can actually give to myself? Is it again, like I said before, is a validation of my beauty or my self-worth, like my existence. Like, what do I need to be validated on? And I'm giving my power away to this person where I can just give it to myself. Then, oh yes, overachieving. I had to let go of attachment to being an overachiever, because that is how I would acquire my self-worth, is through achieving things, overachieving, because achieving things is great. But when you go over, then that's when we start depleting ourselves from all of our energy, because we're still not going to be receiving self-worth through overachieving. Self-worth can only come if you truly know it from inside, and you know that you're worthy no matter what it is that you do. You don't need to overachieve or do anything in order to feel worth. Now we know that we are worthy just for existing. Just for existing. So I had to let go of that idea. Yeah, overachieving as a way of validating myself, unhelpful core beliefs, people-pleasing habits, and overthinking was actually another big one. Overthinking about everything was a coping mechanism that I developed as a child in order to try to make sense of why I was not receiving my 4S's, why I was not safe, why I was not seen, why I was not soothed, and why I was not secure. Secure, soothed, seen, and safe. Why was I not those things? We develop this mechanism of overthinking to compensate for that experience, because we don't know any better. And as children, we do internalize everything as it is our fault. We don't understand, oh, our primary caregivers have their own wounds, that they have their own trauma that they haven't been able to heal, or they don't have the emotional maturity, or maybe they never went to school. My parents barely finished elementary school. How were they supposed to show up for me with this knowledge? They grew up in a small village in Greece. So it all makes sense of the why, but this is the way that we will get to loving freely and unconditionally and with no attachment. And we stop chasing things outside of ourselves. So we use that as a compass, because at the end of the day, attachment is actually not a bad thing, right? Attachment is not a bad thing as long as we know how to use it. As long as we know how to use it as a compass to what it is that we need to let go. We use that as a compass to what it is that we need to stop chasing. That's what it is to release attachment, is to truly understand what it is that you're seeking and stop chasing it, because you can just gift that to yourself. I hope this video made sense. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all those people that have reached out to me and made consultations and have chosen to work with me. I am so grateful and so thankful. It has been a fun, lengthy, well, not really lengthy. It's been a fun journey to get here, where I can truly be loving freely with no attachment. And like I said, it's not like I'm completely free of that, but I am really conscious now of seeing it, where I'm doing it, why am I doing it, and I want to do the work continuously to be able to get back into the state where I don't need anything from anyone. I don't need anything outside of myself, but then also I don't want to not have my needs met, or have boundaries, or not expectations, I guess, just experiences that I want to have with a person. But I want to be able to have these without that being all and be all. And if that person cannot give me that, then I can reevaluate and see, do I still want to continue in this connection, whether it is platonic or it is romantic or it is a work relationship, like whatever it is. If we let go of attachment of how it should be in order to make us feel better because of our own lack, as opposed to having certain needs and those be met, and boundaries not crossed, and yeah, things like that. There's a big difference between needing something and just wanting to experience something and asking for it. So with all my love, I will see you next time, and please feel free to like this video if you liked anything about it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hit that notification button if you don't want to miss a video from me again. And I always welcome any topics. I'm always looking for topics to speak on. So thank you for this particular topic as well. And I will see you next time.